I've got to clean this place up. Okay, so my card ran out of space, so I got a new card. So I was saying that in 2004, I remember meeting this guy. Um, and we talked. I picked him up from Redwood City, and we went down to San Jose, and we went out for drinks. And I thought he was boring, and then we went to eat first, and we went for drinks. And I thought he was boring. And then it came to the point where we were talking about music and psychedelic drugs, and I learned that he recorded music with his computer, and it was new to me at the time, and I really loved that idea. I loved the idea of being able to record, and we did that, and I came to really admire him tremendously. I just he was everything from the fact that we were playing music together to the fact that he loved film also. I showed him my films from college and my short films. And we watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. The last 20 minutes we set it to echoes, and that was just unbelievable. Like, talk about really a better score for that last 20 minutes. I really felt like it was just unreal. And I haven't done that since. I'd love to see how to set that up again, where to start echoes. Because that's the most dated thing about 2001: A Space Odyssey is that screeching score. Although the voices are really cool, but there's a dated quality to it. It's a little bit. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a brilliant film, of course, but it was really cool seeing echoes with it. Anyway, so I grew to respect him tremendously, and I really loved the guy, and I knew that there was a part of me that I had left behind. I had left behind this part of me that was the aggravated, agitated part of me. I had left behind. I knew, and I don't know when I made this decision. I don't know, but I just knew that he wouldn't like that, and it wouldn't go good with him, and I didn't need to, and it wasn't hard for me. I just was able to act more mature in a big way, and more, I just felt more sensible, and that was a good learning. That was a good experience, and there was one day where my friend, this guy who I grew to admire, we got together with my friend since high school named Jimmy, and we got together, and my friend had moved actually to an apartment from Redwood City to Mountain View, and we were in his room, and Jimmy was there, and that's crazy. I think Lawrence even came to visit, because I don't remember Lawrence being there the whole time, or maybe it was a different time altogether. But anyway, so I remember it was me, Adam, my friend, and Jimmy. Jimmy was saying, I was talking about we were talking about recording, and we were talking about some vocals we wanted to lay down. And I asked Jimmy to say something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And Jimmy goes, "I'm not going to say that. That's stupid." And I started to pretty much whine, pretty much, like, "Oh, come on, Jim, you're ridiculous. You're being." I got agitated, and I got frustrated with Jimmy. And Adam said, "I'll never forget it. I've never seen you act like this before." He's like, I've never seen you act like this before." And I knew that. I knew he was going to say that. I knew that was coming next, because this is the part that I had left behind. And the agitated, angry, frustrated part of me. And Adam, it didn't end our relationship or anything. in my false memory of things, it's interesting that it kind of did conclude around that time. But it's not that it was because of that. It was just Adam. We had talked about girlfriends, and Adam, for the first time, was getting serious with a guy. He was bisexual, and he was he had moved. I can't remember. He told me all about where he met this guy, and it was it was really cool. He was in a growing relationship, and they had we had talked about that, and he had moved to eventually moved to San Francisco with his partner, and I remember the last time I saw Adam, he was telling me, oh, this is interesting. He was telling me that he had bought LSD off of somebody and kept it in the freezer for the longest time. And then there was a fair. There was like not a fair. There was a some kind of parade. I don't think it was. Maybe it was the. I can't remember if it was the gay pride or what it was. But Adam said he said he did one dose, and that didn't do anything. You know, the classic mistake, right? He did one dose, that didn't do anything. He did two, he felt like that wasn't doing anything, and then he ended up doing three, and he was totally fried. And he's walking around the city, seeing trailers and trails rather, and trailers. And trails, birds are trailing, and he got a phone call from somebody. He went with this group, and somebody they got separated, and somebody from the group called him, and they're like, "Where's so and so?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." And the guy goes, "Well, seriously, no, where is so and so?" He goes, "I don't know." And he was talking about being fried, and this is when we had got together at a bar in Belmont, and. Yeah, that was then we went to the city, and we kind of we just kind of went our separate ways. We were just I don't think it was. I don't think there was any animosity. Anyway, the point being that I really feel like I really want to realize that I can do that again. I just feel like there's a whole bunch of I got to admit, I have a lot of criticism. I get very uncomfortable around people that I know I'm not going to fully connect with, and I want to connect on this very special level. And in a way, there's no problem with that. In a way but what there is a problem with is perhaps feeling like, I don't know. I mean, okay, so in a sense, it's the fact that maybe I become a little bit more irreverent around people I feel like I'm not going to connect with, or sometimes I think I act silly or irreverent because I think I don't, it's just me, but it's it's a certain mood I'm in. It strikes me a certain way, and anyway, so that was a good experience. I'm just thinking I tend to do this. I tend to do this thing where I think back about all the relationships all the moments I've had in the past where things have gone sideways, where I haven't received the response I want, or I've been rejected, and there were words said, and I just I just like I think about like a game of Candyland, or some kind of in some kind of whimsical way. I'm like, yeah, just fuck those assholes. I'll bash his fucking skull into his brain. And I have all these really intense, angry feelings towards these people when things have gone wrong, and I'm like, well, I just think that's interesting. But I think it comes down to me worrying, I know that there's a reason. I connect with people. I've connected. There's friends I have. There's friends that I have had that have moved to different parts of the country who I miss dearly, and um, you know, sometimes I challenge them in my own silly way about their response to me. But I feel like it's probably not. It's probably true for a lot of people, and that is that once you're connected and once you're in your right place and you feel like it's interesting because I feel like that's the whole thing right there. This is the whole thing that I need to be. I need to feel like I'm doing something worthwhile, and you feel like you're doing something worthwhile and worthy when you have a positive response from other people. And I tend to measure this length of time of not having a lot of people around me and feeling closed off or unable to function properly because of financial situations or what have you, and it makes my emotional state even worse, and I feel like incorrectly, I might add that that everyone, I just get, I overreact and I go, well, everyone rejects me because I'm just, they just don't understand, they think they reject me, and I'm this horrible, I'm this horrible person, and they can feel it, and they know it already, they know it before they even know me, and all this silly stuff, and uh, I really would rather feel just alive and able to just um, make good decisions socially. Um, Not that things aren't going to happen. Things will always happen. That's life, but that is life, and I think I have to really keep that in mind. But um, sometimes it's a matter of just recognizing, doing a little bit more work and paying attention to what direction you should go in. I met my last friend because I gave him my card, my phone card, and I had a pretty good idea that we would connect, and we did. And um, it's no surprise to me that he has a lot of friends and associates because of the stories he tells and how he has been through his life, his 7 years. Is he 27? Fuck. No, 30. 30. His 30 years. What's happened and how what he's experienced. His experiences. And it makes sense that based on his experiences, he would have a lot of friends just being a part of just different just the way he's what's been important to him and how he's conducted himself, and I recognize the difference, and I know better. um, and I think another very important portion of that is that he's done a lot of fighting and a lot of he's been a rascal. He's been a rascal. He's been kind of a hellion in a way. He was attacked. He was beaten in a bar. We went to see these bands, and he was beaten up. And I had gone. It was so weird. It was the weirdest thing. I had gone to Safeway because I wanted something to eat, and I just went to get some chips or something, and I wanted to go for a walk also. So I walked around and I went to Safeway, and I came back around to where my car was, and he said he had been attacked, and I said, "You've been attacked? What?" And I pulled away, and he was right around the corner. He said he was over by Safeway, right around the corner, and I saw him, and there he was. He was on the street, and he got in my car, and he was bleeding, blood coming all the way down down the side of his head. And we actually included that footage for a short film, which I'm really hoping to be able to recover when Amazon gets around to delivering my shit that I ordered. This Seagate has their own special power supply that I need to fucking find in order to fucking boot the goddamn hard drive up. I have a good feeling that it survived, while my other hard drives did not. They're completely dead, and I was able to boot my computer up once, which is kind of a miracle. But now it can't, now it's having problems. But anyway, so there's ups and downs. If I had been attacked by a group of people, I mean, fucking A. I mean, Dylan is a fighter. He's lived that fighting. That fighting. I'm gonna, type of, almost vigilante kind of street thing. That kind of. He's done that thing. He's got the tattoos, and he was into punk rock and fighting, and so there's always going to be something in somebody's life that just isn't quite right. And I'm not saying that. Anyway, it's no surprise that he has a lot of friends also that just based on the way he is. I mean, he's very upbeat. He's very happy, very upbeat, and that's where I want to get to. I want to be able to. When I was a kid, I could pretend. Just fuck. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's just. People would tell you like it's nothing, that when you're a kid you just don't know the world, and everything's kind of mystical, and that's what feeds your endorphins and the positive dopamine in your body, and you're like, I'll imagine things being a certain way, and this will keep me happy, and it certainly kept me happy. But now as an adult, when I get into a hardship, it really feels like everything's just stripped down to the bare bones of this gray nothing. And I hate that. I know that that's bullshit. I know that's not true. And I know that I have good reason to believe that I can make all the right efforts to better my situation in drastic ways, and I have to be open to that. And I think that there's a fear in me that I'm also afraid of. I mean, there's like a fear of how I'm going to get to where I'm going. But that's not a surprise. I mean, everyone has that. Dylan has that. Dylan, my friend, is not sure where he's going to live now, because we had to move out of our burning, our dilapidated, our apartment building that caught fire. We had to move out of that apartment, and Dylan is. We were here at my parents' place, and he was. I told him, where are you going to look for a place? I mean, I have to look for a place to live, and you can't stay here. It would be very awkward. And he goes, I know. And then you could just see the stress. He's like, he was very stressed out, and I could see his face change color, and it was red. And he was saying, man, a lot of stress, man, a lot of stress. And he was very concerned, and so he went up north to work for a while, and he's going to come back tomorrow, and he's not sure what's going on. The county's paying for hotel rooms for us, but he doesn't know how that's going to work out. I don't know how that's going to work out. Although I have a little bit more resources than he does. I guess, I mean, I could go on and on about this. There's more concerns. There's more concerns about my ability to be strong, and I think, in some way it's not fair. I take full responsibility, not in some way, but in a lot of ways. I'm my biggest critic. I'm very hard on myself, extremely hard on myself, to a horrifying level, actually. And um, I feel like, there's no excuse. I should be able to go out there and know that at least on some level I could make it I could be resourceful and support myself and eat and have shelter without the need of support. um, but I know we all need support, but it's one of those things where you just it just eats at me in ways that I wish it wouldn't. um, if I could turn it around and I could turn it into something else. There are times I feel so horrible that I swear I would take living in a fantasy land that I'm the king of Siam and I have beautiful young girls with pom poms following me around, and I would gladly live in this hallucination. I mean, some variance of that. I mean, some positive variance of that, like just some outward thrust of, I believe that this can happen, so I'm going to go forward and do it. And I remember having that, and I think that a lot of things that happen in adulthood tear that down, and sometimes it's little bits of, little pieces fall away, and sometimes large pieces fall away until you're like, oh shit, I don't know if I've got what it takes. But I know that I do have what it takes. I know that I do. I just um, need to get out of my own way, so to speak, and I need to. In a way, I'm afraid of my chaotic mind. I'm not sure that if I go down and participate in such and such, I'm gonna know the true value of why I'm doing this, and then I'm gonna feel like I've wasted my time. That rarely happens, so I don't think that's really the issue. Um, anyway, I gotta get cleaning. This has been fun. We gotta go play. We gotta go win the lottery and get those resources going, and then we're gonna make sure we clean the house completely and get the fucking flies out of here, and things are gonna be good. All right, more later.